The prisoner who wouldn't bow. The mining moon hung cold and lifeless in the void, a jagged rock scarred by endless tunnels and the echo of forgotten screams. Inside its deepest cells, beneath layers of reinforced metal and alien watchtowers, sat Elias Ward, a single human among thousands of broken prisoners. To the Zorvani overseers, he was just another defiant slave, destined to be ground down by time and cruelty. But Elias was something else entirely. They called him the Ghost of Earth, rumored dead after the failed rebellion on his home planet. Yet here he was, gaunt but unyielding, eyes burning with quiet fire. The chains biting into his wrists were nothing compared to the chains around his spirit, and he refused to break. The morning shift began as usual. Prisoners shuffled in mechanical monotony toward the loading bays. Heavy boots thundered behind them. Alien voices barked orders sharp as knives. The air reeked of sweat, dust, and despair. But Elias moved differently, deliberate, calm, a storm brewing beneath his skin. He passed a rusted bulkhead and slipped a small, crudely fashioned tool from his sleeve, a piece scavenged from broken mining equipment, sharpened to a fine edge. His hands worked swiftly and silently, loosening the worn bolts of his prison door, testing the limits of his confined world. No one watched closely enough to catch the act, but to Elias it was the first spark of hope. Human, a harsh voice snapped. A Zorvani overseer, tall and scaled, stepped into the dim corridor. His black eyes glimmered with contempt. Kneel and beg mercy. You serve your masters now. Elias met the gaze without hesitation. Mercy is for the weak, he said, voice low but clear. I serve no one. The overseer snarled, raising a clawed hand. You will bow, or you will suffer. Elias straightened his back. Then I choose to suffer. A tense silence filled the corridor, broken only by distant clangs and the shuffling of prisoners. For years, no one had dared speak so boldly, not to a Zorvani, not in this forsaken place. Ward's defiance was a crack in the wall of oppression, a beacon faint but unmistakable. Whispers started among the prisoners. Eyes that had lost hope found something new, a cause, a leader, a man who refused to bow. In the dark corners of the camp, a small group watched silently. Kortal, a grizzled alien warrior chained nearby, nodded once. Maybe this human is different. Elias returned his gaze to the distant stars visible through a tiny viewport, stars that had once belonged to free worlds. The fire inside him grew. One human had sparked a flame. The galaxy had no idea it was only the beginning. A voice among the broken. Days passed inside the mining camp like endless waves of gray misery. Yet beneath the crushing weight of despair, something new stirred. Elias Ward had done the impossible. He had refused to bow. That single act spread through the camp like a whisper, then a murmur, then a roar in waiting. Prisoners from dozens of alien species began to watch him differently. Not just a human, a symbol. A flicker of defiance no chain could snuff out. Kortal, a grizzled alien warrior from the brutal Narkon tribe, was the first to approach. His 3 eyes flicked cautiously as he stood over the broken human. You talk like freedom is possible here. I've seen thousands die trying. Why waste breath? Elias met Kor's gaze evenly. Because no one else will if we don't. That night, in the shadowed tunnels where guards rarely came, Elias gathered a small group, humans, Narkins, even a few tech-minded Zedhara slaves. Among them was Mirail, a timid Zedhara girl whose fingers danced over broken circuit boards like they were instruments. We can't fight them openly, Elias said softly, voice barely above the tunnel's drip and rustle. But we can fight smarter. Mirail nodded, pulling out a battered datapad she'd salvaged. I've found old comm relays in the supply tunnels. They're mostly dead, but I think I can get one working. Elias smiled faintly. Good. We need to speak beyond these walls. Let others know we're still alive. Let them know we won't be slaves forever. For days, they worked in secret. Mirail and her small team patched wires, rewired circuits, and scavenged power cells from mining equipment. Kor drilled others in silent drills, communication signals, hidden messages, subtle gestures. Finally, the comm relay flickered to life. Elias keyed the makeshift transmitter, voice steady but fierce. "This is Elias Ward. To every slave, every prisoner, every soul crushed beneath the Zorvani heel, hear this. We are not broken. We are not beaten. We are rising. Freedom is not given. It is taken. Join us. Resist." The signal pulsed through the camp, then beyond. Hidden receivers on other moons, in starships, picked it up. Wherever slaves and captives existed, hope blossomed. The guards noticed the change. Their grip tightened, patrols grew harsher. But Ward's message had already spread too far to silence. In the quiet moments, Elias looked around at the faces lit by dim fires and flickering consoles. No longer mere victims. They were becoming rebels. Core grunted, clapping a heavy hand on Elias's shoulder. "You've given us something dangerous, hope. And hope can burn down empires." Elias's eyes gleamed. "Then we light that fire. The galaxy will remember." Systems ablaze. The prison camp erupted into chaos. For years, the Zorvani Dominion had ruled the mining moon with an iron fist, crushing any flicker of rebellion before it could ignite. But now, that flicker had become a roaring flame. Elias Ward's message had spread like wildfire across the labor camps and slave outposts. Whispers of revolt turned into shouts of defiance. Inside the camp, the prisoners moved with purpose. They had waited for this moment, a chance to fight back. Kortal led a squad of alien warriors, their bodies scarred but their spirits unbroken. Morale and her team sabotaged control consoles, plunging sections of the camp into darkness. Ward, unyielding and fierce, rallied those around him. The first attack was sudden and brutal. Alien guards rushed into the tunnels, weapons blazing, but the prisoners were ready. Using improvised weapons forged from mining tools and stolen tech, they struck with precision. Ward's voice cut through the chaos, directing fighters, inspiring courage where there was only fear moments before. Explosions rocked the underground corridors as power systems failed. Communication jammers went silent. In the dim red glow of emergency lights, chains were broken and prisoners surged forward. Core's warriors overwhelmed the guards in hand-to-hand combat, their years of captivity fueling savage strength. Mirel's sabotage crippled the camp's defenses, sealing escape routes from the oppressors. Ward fought at the forefront, a whirlwind of resolve. Every strike was a message. They would no longer be slaves. When the dust settled, the camp was theirs. Ward stood in the central command chamber, battered but unbowed. The Zorvani overseers were captured or scattered. Prisoners cheered quietly, weary but victorious. Ward didn't waste time. He activated the camp's ancient broadcast system, his voice echoing through the now liberated mining moon. "To every enslaved being in the Dominion, hear me. We are the fire in the darkness. We will not be broken. We will rise. Join us in rebellion. The galaxy is watching." Across the stars, systems previously thought pacified flared with unrest. Slaves on distant colonies stopped working. Ships mutinied. Hidden rebel cells surged into action. The Zorvani Empire scrambled to respond, but the rebellion had already become a contagion. No fortress was safe. No chain unbreakable. In a secret briefing aboard a Dominion warship, a high-ranking Zorvani commander snarled at the reports. "The humans, this one human. He has ignited a war. Contain it, by any means necessary." Back on the mining moon, Elias Ward looked out at the horizon where the cold stars burned. This was only the beginning. The fire was spreading, and the galaxy would never be the same. The human who lit the stars. The rebellion had grown beyond any one prison, any single world. The Zorvani Dominion, once an unshakable empire, found itself besieged from every direction. Systems that had long bowed in silence now erupted in defiance. Ships once loyal turned their weapons inward. Entire sectors declared independence. And at the heart of this galactic storm was one human, Elias Ward. But Ward was nowhere to be found. After the liberation of the mining moon, he vanished into the shadows. Some said he led secret raids behind enemy lines, striking hard then fading like a ghost. Others whispered of a phantom fleet commanded by the human rebel, a specter haunting the Dominion's night maze. The Zorvani issued a galaxy-wide bounty, alive or dead. The price on Ward's head was a fortune, enough to corrupt entire star systems. Yet no one captured him. In rebel camps scattered across the stars, Ward became legend. Around dim fires and in the hollow corridors of captured outposts, stories passed from lips to eager ears. How one man refused to bow, how his voice united the broken, how his courage sparked a flame that no darkness could snuff. A young alien fighter named Talon sat with a fresh recruit on a battered freighter. The recruit's eyes were wide with wonder as Talon told the tale. "They say he was just one man," Talon said, voice low and fierce. "But his spirit was a wildfire. Wherever the Dominion crushed the weak, his flame sparked resistance. He reminded us, freedom isn't given. It's taken." The recruit nodded, fists clenched. "Will we see him again?" Talon smiled, eyes reflecting distant stars. "Maybe. Or maybe it doesn't matter. His rebellion lives in every one of us. In every strike against our oppressors. In every act of defiance." Back on a shadowed moon, Elias Ward watched the rising tide. The Empire was fracturing, but the war was far from over. He knew the cost of victory would be steep. Friends lost. Worlds burned. Yet the fire he had ignited could never be extinguished. With a final glance at the stars, he whispered, "This is only the beginning." The galaxy would never forget the human who lit the stars.